Hello! Today we're going to be talking about the Priest of La Manchaland, Gregor. Because A, he won the vote, B, I kinda know how to use him, and C, my staff members are a bunch of assholes. So let's get into this, shall we? And so, since it's been talked about in a different video, since he is a Blood Fiend, he utilizes the Blood Feast mechanic, and to make it as simple as possible, anytime bleed damage is taken, it adds to the counter, and he draws from the counter to make himself stronger. So, he has a super basic skill 1 that gives him aggro on the skill slot the next turn. He gets increased coin power for every 6 bleed on a target. He gains bleed, meaning that he takes damage. And if he has more than 50% of his health, he would gain an additional 15 bleed. Essentially, at the beginning, he takes 25 damage. He inflicts bleed and rupture, and he also gains bloodied hand, which what it does is on screen right now. And then his skill 2, like the first skill, gives him aggro. He gains extra coin power for every bleed on the target. He gains bleed. And then if he's at 5 or more ailing hearts, he will consume 60 blood feasts. And then will gain 1 bloodied hand for every 6 blood feasts consumed. A max of 10, basically. But if he's at less than 5 ailing hearts, he'll gain bleed and 3 bloodied hand. He inflicts bleed count, rupture, and gains bloodied hand with this attack. So, for his skill 3, he will heal 50% of the HP damage dealt with a max of 100 per use of the skill. He'll deal extra damage for every 1% missing HP he has on himself. If the target has 6 or more bleed, he'll gain 1 coin power. For every excess stack of Bloody Hand past 10, he will consume them and will do the following effects. He will heal the amount of stacks consumed by 3, times 3. If he consumes 10 stacks or more, he'll gain 1 coin power. And if he consumes 20 stacks or more, he will reuse the final coin. And then while he uses the attack, he'll also gain 10 bleed. And then when the attack is done, he'll heal 10 HP on himself. He'll gain 3 bloodied hand on hit. He will inflict 2 bleed, 2 rupture, 2 bleed count, and 2 rupture count. So, his defense skill is a little bit confusing in a way, but let me explain. So, if he's at more than 40% of his max HP, he'll gain 5 bleed and activate bleed up to 3 times on himself once per turn, and then he'll lose that bleed count that was activated. If he is at less than 48% HP, he will consume up to 20 blood feasts and will heal that much in HP, and then he will automatically gain 3 ailing heart upon use of the defense skill. So he really only has 2 passives, unless you also count the Blood Feast as a passive. His first passive, his combat passive, is Self-Destructive Dedication, where what it does is it will heal 10 minus Ailing Heart SP for the ally with the least SP, excluding himself or allies that are panicked and corrode. And then in the encounter, if he were to take damage that would kill him, he would not take damage, and then for the rest of the turn, his HP cannot drop below 1. And then his support passive, the ally with the lowest HP percentage will heal 3 HP upon hit with 3 times per turn. And then if that ally has bleed, they also heal an additional 3 HP per hit. So in terms of what teams you use him in, he really would mainly only be viable in a Blood Feed team because he buffs Manager Dawn, but the buff that he gives her isn't necessarily that good. And the big issue with him is that he's constantly hurting himself. And if something goes wrong, he could end up killing himself. And he doesn't have, like, that best of a damage. So I honestly would probably replace him with a different bleed unit. So, if you are going to use him, what you would do is you would use his skill 1s and skill 2 to inflict aggro to make enemies target him because he's got a high health pool and has lifesteal. And you would use that to also build up Bloodied Hand, and then once he's at the max stat, or low HP, you would use his skill 3 to heal all that health back and to deal a good amount of damage. That is if you are using him.